Hello and welcome back to Any Percent, the only podcast where we throw non-believers into holes. My name is Evan Sampson. I am your host, and I am joined by my two lovely co-hosts, Casper Karen.
How's it going?
And Kody Mosley.
Hey guys.
And on this fine episode, we have a wonderful guest, as is now pretty much what we do. So expect guests, I guess. And that would be my fiance, Liz.
What's up?
Wait, what? You guys are getting married?
Whoa! Hopefully anybody, I hope we get to the point where we're so popular that people develop parasocial relationships with us and then come to kill me and Liz.
They get
because,
like upset, yeah.
Yeah, because they're mad that we're together and that they can't have me or can't have Liz.
I thought gamers
Can't
didn't date. Dang.
This is episode 9 of Any Percent. We're going to be talking about Night in the Woods. But first, as is standard procedure, just love to know what these guys are up to. So, let's hand it off to Liz first. Liz, you been playing any video games lately?
Putting me on the spot as
Definitely.
the guest. That's rough. I've been playing Super Mario Odyssey, which I feel like in 2020 is a weird thing to be playing, but I'm really excited for the Switch port of Super Mario 3D World, so I'm like in a Mario mood. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Odyssey's awesome.
Yeah.
Odyssey is the best
Odyssey's great.
3D platforming Mario
Also,
game ever.
Whoa.
Evan and I argue about what the best 3D Mario is, and I don't agree that it's Odyssey, so I'm like trying to see what he sees.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Super Mario 64 by far for me, although
Really? I know.
Yep.
It's got to be Galaxy. The first Galaxy game. That's my favorite
Galaxy is really good.
one. Yeah.
it's good. I just
64
have
is
like
good, like, in the way that, like, you're like, I appreciate this. Like, thank you for, like, creating this. But I don't know how anyone could play Odyssey and not see how much better it is in terms of, like, how Mario controls. And I even think,
They're
like, the music and
different.
the level design is, like, better.
no, they're different. And Super
They are
Mario
different.
64 is so foundational. And I do think like there are things in the later games that the earlier games did better.
The only thing I don't like about Odyssey is how you can trip over a pebble and a star comes out, or a moon, whatever it is. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you're
It's because the moons are,
everywhere.
like, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good in the sense that, like, you only need, like, X amount to beat the game, so you're just, like, stumbling over them. But, yeah, during quarantine, at one point, I was like, I'm going to 100% this, or at least, get all the moons in the book. And it took me forever.
Oh, but you did it though.
I did it,
though.
yeah. The stupid jump rope mini game is so hard, dude.
Yeah.
It gets so hard.
Yeah.
Same thing with the in the beach level, there's like volleyball, and you have to, the way that people realize is super easy is make it 2-player and just control the hat, because the hat moves way faster, so they
Right.
just fly around as the hat only. Anyway, I love Odyssey. Liz, you
I
playing
like it
anything
too.
else?
Me? I played the Balan Wonderland. I always forget what it is. I played the demo. It's a 3D platformer. It's by Square Enix. So I don't know. I think people were pretty excited about it. It was also announced for PS5 and people were like, whoa, it was a while ago. So I think people were just kind of pumped. So it got some press. I tried the demo. Not good.
Not good.
Probably not going to get it.
It's
Well, that's
made
what
by the
demos
guy
are
that
for, right?
created Sonic, right? I can't think of what his name is.
I think it's the team that worked on, I don't remember which Sonic games, but yeah,
The game is Balan Wonderworld, not Wonderland.
Wonder World.
Yeah, it's Yuji Naka. He created Sonic the Hedgehog and Nights into Dreams, which is, I had vibes of
right.
that
Mm-hmm.
from this game.
The art style is very similar.
So I feel like
But-
3D platformers are kind of making a comeback in the last couple of years. What do you guys think? Like they had, like every game in the early 2000s was a 3D platformer, but then they kind of
Yeah, they
went away
for
a
long
little
time.
bit, and
Yeah,
now they're
360 era.
coming back.
Like,
Yeah.
you didn't have any platforms on the Xbox 360 or the PS3.
They're all shooters.
Yeah, it was just
shooter
like,
time.
and then I don't know. I think I remember when 3D platformers like started to get nostalgic was like when, or like when people started to like itch for those was like when, A Hat in Time got kickstarted, and then like
That's
everyone's
what I was thinking, right?
like, I remember that was like so hype, and everyone was like, I love Banjo-Kazooie and I love Super Mario and I miss it, you know. And so
and then like ukulele and I feel like
but I
3D
feel like the
platformers
imitators, dude, like are not, they don't like the classics do it well, and I don't know. I didn't think A Hat in Time was that fun.
Really?
It ran like crap on my Switch.
I didn't have it on the
Terribly.
Switch. I had it on a computer.
Yeah,
But it was.
that was
I
like
liked it.
I thought the controls, like I played it after I played Odyssey, so
Okay.
I mean,
I
I think it's hard to go from
Yeah.
Odyssey to anything else because I felt like I didn't have as much control. And then Liz played ukulele, right, Liz? What did you think? You didn't
Yeah.
finish it.
I was gonna say, like, during that time, which was like 2016-ish maybe, like that was like when 3D platformers got a big nostalgia boom. Ukulele was okay. It's like, I don't know. I think it's really hard to recreate or like make, you know, derivations of the original like success stories. Like obviously it's hard to keep innovating. Ukulele was like just kind of one of many of the era, I kind of felt like. But my favorite recent 3D platformer, Astros, that was good. That was one.
Astro's Playroom was pretty fun.
That was
Astro's
one that I
Playroom.
felt like-
I was like, what?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Astro's
Astro's
Playroom is
Playroom.
really good. That's like,
Yeah,
I think we talked. Did we talk about that? When,
we talked about it at some point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah, I
did.
think we did
On
with
the
our like
cast.
game of the year, right? Where we just
Yeah,
talked
it was
about-
like my runner up or something, or my third place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Astro's Playroom is sick because it feels like a game that Nintendo would make, but
Yeah.
PlayStation, man, it's like what?
Yeah,
Crazy.
I think 99% of why I like Astro so much though is just all the little like Easter eggs to like PlayStation
yep.
properties,
Yeah.
and it's like it, you know, makes you go like, oh, they used to make such good games. But all right, Kody, what have you been playing?
Speak of PlayStation, I've actually been playing my PSVR lately.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
You know, trying to work out these noodle arms, you know,
Yeah, you could
swinging
use it.
around, playing Beat Saber, you know.
Sounds more like cardio. I don't think you're gonna get jacked playing Beat Saber.
Dude, like your arms get tired. It's mostly cardio, probably like, you know, ducking
Yeah.
and stuff. But like, dude, your arms get mad tired on the higher difficulties.
Beat
yeah, I've been
Saber is
playing-
like the VR game to get.
Dude, Beat Saber is sick. Because I'm trying to think, like, you know, someone who doesn't know anything about games really or VR in general. You just drop him in Beat Saber like I did with my dad,
Yeah.
and he's like, yo, that's sick.
It's just beating stuff with a stick.
Yeah, like it makes complete sense with like your monkey brain, you know. You're just like, makes total sense. But besides Beat Saber, I actually picked up a game called it's called Pistol Whip.
Oh, I heard about
It's kind of like Super Hot. That's probably where it gets most of its inspiration. But instead of Super Hot, where you're standing still, shooting people coming at you,
Yeah.
this game is like, it's sort of like an endless runner. So like you're running, but it's like in a level. It's not, you know, it doesn't go forever, but you're kind of auto walking forward at a slow pace, and people are popping around cover, and you just like, you're kind of like John
Oh, that's
Wick.
cool.
It's like,
yeah. You're just like strolling
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
battle and like
exactly.
popping
It's-
dudes off. That
it's
sounds
John
really
Wick
cool.
the game. Like it really is just John Wick the game. It's so
Yeah,
sick.
that's awesome.
But yeah, so I've been playing that. Like I'll get home from work and I'll just like play for like an hour or so. Get super tired and super sweaty. And then I've actually been playing Yakuza 0. I played maybe about 2 hours today. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing.
Nice. Casper, what about you, my man?
I'm still playing a lot of Hades.
Hell yeah. Got Casper on the Hades train from the last episode.
Right,
I liked
right.
it when we played it, you know, last time. But the more I play it, the more I like it because I keep getting
Yes,
stronger.
dude.
Yeah.
I got 2 Hades, like the final boss fight.
Mhm.
By the time I
Yeah.
got there, I didn't have any Death Defiance
Death
left.
Defies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got him down 1 health bar. I'm like, oh yeah. But then I noticed that there's still like a little bit left, and he just gets it all back, and I die.
Oh yeah, the first time that happened to me, I was so mad.
Yeah, dude, because the music picks up too, and you're like, oh crap, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad's
That's
gonna
awesome.
whoop my ass.
Yeah. Yo, Liz, have you played Hades?
I played Hades for like 20 minutes and then I didn't go back to it, but I want to play more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't grab me immediately, which
Okay.
I feel bad saying because I know everyone loves it. I want to
Everyone's-
give it another try though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good game. Probably not for everyone,
Yeah.
but it is fun.
Yeah. I think it's one of the better roguelike games, at least available right now, in my
Mm.
opinion.
I like how we did an episode on Hades and we're still talking about Hades.
Yeah,
Yes.
every episode until
It's so
the end of
good.
time.
It's
So
a hot
good.
topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
That's true.
Is that it,
What have
Casper?
I been playing? Oh yeah, sorry, Casper.
No,
you got
that's
anything
pretty
else?
much it. I'm just playing Hades.
Yeah, nice. I figured, when you said I'm playing Hades, I'm like, he
Like,
ain't got
just
time for
Hades.
anything else.
Yeah, right.
I've been playing Hitman. So Hitman 3 came out
Oh.
between the last 2 episodes, or the last episode in this one, and I was like, I'll finish Hitman 1, and I owned Hitman 2, never touched it.
Yep.
So I finished Hitman 1 in Hitman 2, which was kind of cool. Cuz it carries forward.
Yeah.
And then I got about halfway through Hitman 2 and I was like, well, I can play Hitman 2 and Hitman 3 and I am having so much fun. So I bought Hitman 3 before finishing Hitman 2 and now I'm on the last level of Hitman 2 in Hitman 3. So I
How does
actually
that
haven't
work?
played
I'm so
Hitman 3 yet
confused.
per se.
How does it work? How is a game like? How does it work? Is
do
it
you
literally
mean?
just Hitman 2 in Hitman 3, or is it
Yeah,
like
it's just the levels.
the
It's
same
the levels.
levels?
And they carry over your progress from 2 to 3. So like I
Okay.
get to have all my like unlockables and stuff.
But like, can
So-
you do like the new mechanics that are in 3?
There's
can
no
you do
new
those?
mechanics. That's the thing.
Okay.
All 3
Oh,
games
okay.
are basically feel more like expansions on this one engine
Gotcha.
they developed.
Okay.
Like, there's not. 1 to 2 has like a couple changes, like at least that I noticed. Like they added like a concealment mechanic. I think. Don't quote me on this because it might have been in the first game and I just forgot. But you can like hide in bushes and shit. Like I don't think you could do that in the first game.
No, you could do that.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know what's different, but it's basically the same. Yeah, they don't change. They change up, I think, some of like the hits and the way they go down in like interesting ways.
Yeah.
But they don't actually change the core mechanics very much at all. Although in 3 they added a camera, which some missions require the use of the camera.
Okay.
But I can take pictures in Hitman 2 with my camera. Like,
Yeah,
I just
right.
killed you, snap. Like,
right.
you know, your corpse floating in the ocean because I just kicked you off a cliff, snap. You know,
Yeah.
it's great.
I haven't
Yeah.
played 2, but I played 1. It was really solid. Like it
Yeah,
was just really
so-
tight gameplay.
Yeah. I bounced off 1, or like for some reason I could only play it in short bursts because I found like it hard to wrap my head around kind of the giant machine that is that world. Like all these moving parts.
Yeah.
And I used to try not to rely on like the mission intel stuff.
Okay.
Like you have so basically for Casper or for Kody and Liz, there are like mini missions within the mission that kind of will get you to a point to do the hit or at least to be in a much better position. And they're like very like kind of like they suffer a little bit, I think, from like the game design of like just follow the compass to this point and do this thing and just go. And I was trying to avoid doing those the first time I played the game, but I would spend so long like observing and thinking that I would just be like, I'd be wiped.
Right.
Like I'd play one level and be like, God, that was like enough for like a month.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
You know, trying to learn these patterns on my own. And so when I started playing again, I embraced that system and it makes me more excited to go. Now I naturally have learned some of those patterns using those missions. And then, you know, I have a better understanding of like the machine, right? Because
Yeah.
each level is like this super complicated machine of NPCs doing stuff and you have to go kill somebody in that machine.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I have a much better understanding of the machine and I'm more likely to go back and come up with my own inventive way to do a hit like I was originally trying to do. But now I like have the skills I need and stuff and it's not as draining. So
yeah. That's
why I bounced off of it at first, but now I'm really into it.
Yeah, I think so. Games like that, like I'm trying to think of how you could make it like harder, and you can't like as a developer you can't like, oh, they take 2 hits instead of 1 or whatever. So it's like you can make it harder for yourself by choosing to ignore the intel.
Yeah. Right.
Or like, you know, picking pieces if you're stuck and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So it does have difficulty, but like
Mm-hmm.
I think pretty much the main thing is that on the hard mode you only get 1 save, which means you have to execute every step of your procedure you can make 1 mistake theoretically.
Yeah.
You know, and go back or whatever. So in the mode I play, like the standard mode, it's unlimited save. So I'm like always like, whoops, I walked into a room and someone saw me killing that guy. And just save scum the shit out of that. It's like playing XCOM too. I'm like the worst save scum with XCOM. Like I don't want anyone to die. I love them all too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've basically just been playing that. Liz, if I've been playing anything else, you would know. I've talked about Delete a while, like an episode or 2 ago, but that's like a fun game that I've been playing.
It's like a puzzle game, right?
Yeah, it's just a really cool puzzle game. I'm almost done with it. I gotta finish it. Yeah, no, pretty much just Hitman right now. I haven't been playing that many video games in general, and then obviously the game for this show. So yeah, all right. I guess let's dive in. Let's get into the meaty stuff. Wringing my hands menacingly. So this week's game, episode 9, we're talking about Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods is, all right, you guys ready? I'm going to coin this term.
Let's do it.
It's not a point and click adventure. It's a walk and jump adventure.
Yeah, true.
Bro,
It
my
really
mind, my guy.
Yeah, it's like a 2D walking simulator sort of.
Yeah.
Right. So
But also like a visual novel.
yeah, true. Yeah, for
so
sure.
it was released originally in 2017.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it came out earlier than that. I thought when I originally
I
played
think-
it, I had played it pretty shortly after it came out.
The Kickstarter was from like 2013 or 14, I think.
So
Yeah.
it took
I
them a
see.
while.
Yeah.
Took a while.
So it's 2017 game for available at the time, at least on Windows, Mac, Linux, PS4. Now you can play it on Switch and Xbox One, and pretty much anything you want to play it on. And it was published by Finji, who they publish a lot of cool games. They published what's that? Oh crap! What's that one that I like? I'm spacing on it so hard. I hate being the host.
What's it
They
about?
published Overland, I think.
Yes, Overland. That's the one I could not think of. Yeah. And they've done, I don't know, they've done other cool stuff. So, but this is my favorite game that they've done. I should have worn my Finji t-shirt. I got a t-shirt at PAX.
I have a Night in the
last
Woods
year.
t-shirt.
We really messed up for the
Missed
YouTube
opportunity.
viewers. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
YouTube viewers. But yeah, so let's jump in. I mean,
Before we jump in, I just gotta
Oh,
say
yeah.
something. So when we wanted to do Night in the Woods, I'm like so stupid because I thought you guys were talking about Thimbleweed Park. I got them mixed up. I don't know if you guys. It's like a
yeah. Liz
yeah.
has
So I was
played
like, wait. I thought it, when I started playing Night in the Woods, I'm like, wait, it's supposed to be like more about like a detective stuff, right? And I'm like so confused. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's a different game. I'm dumb. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. So like, do you guys have any? Okay, let's jump into like just like what was our vibe with the game? How much did you play, and what did you think of it? So Casper, why don't you go first? How much did you
I
get to
beat
play
it.
of it?
I actually
You beat it. Well
beat
done.
it like 2-3 hours ago.
Nice.
Right at the buzzer, buddy.
Yeah, I lost my save file. It got corrupted or something.
Oh,
I got like halfway and I had to start it over again. I
That
don't know
sucks.
if that's what's influencing my decision, but I feel like I just didn't really like the game.
Okay.
I
Alright.
don't know if it's just because it has a slow start and I had to do it over again.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
that-
that's why I don't like it, but I feel like there's
Right.
just so much talking about nothing. Which
Yeah, it's definitely got like
Yeah.
big tone piece vibes. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
what was that movie that Jonah Hill directed? Liz, we saw it.
What,
1990, mid-90s. Yeah.
Mid-90s.
Like that, like it's like it kind of has vibes
Dude.
like that where it's like very.
I wanted to like mid '90s so bad.
I wanted to like it too. I was
Me
like,
too.
I loved everything about it except the fact that I was
The
bored.
plot.
Yeah.
The lack of plot.
The lack of plot.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. I would say,
so-
or yeah, sorry, you go, Kody.
well, no, I was gonna say to jump off of Casper's. I think that I liked it the more I played it, right? But at the start, it does really start slow. But they're setting up the characters like, as Mae the character, you're just getting into town. You're kind of relearning like what's going on,
Right.
as you're playing it.
I want to point out what college student does not come home ever. Like she's been gone for 2 years straight. That's crazy.
Yeah, or like
and her parents
at least
haven't
a
been
year and
like
a half, right?
told her shit about anything while she's been gone. Like
Yeah, like the whole town is like changed. She's like, whoa, what the hell? The pizza places or the different changes and stuff's closed down and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I beat the game. I actually beat it today while I was supposed to be at work and put that on the DL. But yeah, overall I like the game. Definitely like at the end I'm like, oh okay, that game is good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Liz, what about you? How much did you play, and did you enjoy the game?
Yeah, so I beat it. I played it kind of in two parts. I started it and then I got pretty much like halfway through and then I took a break and I feel like it got pretty slow in the middle, which was why I kind of fell off of it. But then I went back. There were definitely like a couple of hours that were a bit of a slog in my opinion, but then I got to the end and like the ending totally kind of paid off. But
yeah.
I liked it. I like to like I do have things I like and I don't like about it for sure, but overall good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Well, I have beaten it like 2 years ago, but I replayed about 4-ish hours of it. I didn't get too much time in these last 2 weeks to play it because I was playing Hitman 3. But I had already played it, so I just was getting kind of familiarized with it again. But yeah, I like this game. I think this is a good game. Like it was my pick. I picked it because I like it. So, I mean, I think the thing that definitely stands out about this game, like the aspect of the game is like the narrative, right? Like mechanically, I wouldn't say it has too much craziness going on, but I think we should talk about that's, after maybe what's up with the mechanics. But I think the story, is the draw. So like, I don't know. What do you guys think? I have two questions, I guess. One, like, what do you think about its portrayal of like small town American decay? Like, do you think it does it justice, or do you think it like is like, I don't know, what do you think about that? And then I want to know, so start taking notes, start thinking about what you're gonna say. Like, do you think the supernatural elements of the story that culminate near the end are helpful or hurtful to the? I kind of think I know your answer to this for at least Casper or Kody and Liz. But do you think those supernatural elements that kind of roll up at the end help or hurt the overall story?
Yeah.
So
I'll start. I think that as far as like America's like small town decay, that's like it's so like I'm just thinking about like when I go home from college, right? It's like, man, my town kind of sucks, and it's always just gonna suck, kind of. And like there's that bit where you go in the mall, and like there's no
nobody
stores
there.
Yeah, it's like, dang, that's really true. That's so true.
It definitely did a good job on that, on the small town part. It did feel just like a small town that you would live in,
right? And just like everyone's stuck there and nobody's leaving.
Happy, right? Like nobody's psyched.
Everyone in your high school, they're just like having kids. They work at like whatever job. They haven't left the small town. It's like, wow, yep, that's how it is.
I think it's really interesting to tell it like with the lens of a college student coming back home, because it like I grew up in a mill town. I think the town in the game is Cole.
It's also a mill. No, I think it's. Oh no, it is a Cole. You're right. Yeah.
Cole.
It's Cole.
Yeah. So mill, like pretty similar. Like I never really realized it until I left and then came back. But like the elements of like the population slowly dying away, like I realized
Yeah.
were present in my hometown, and I never really noticed. But like, yeah, like the shuttered windows and like the businesses, going out of business. I think like that's so much more apparent when you leave and come home, which is why I think it's cool that they did it with a college student.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it gives her an interesting perspective as like an insider / outsider, right? Like she has some insight, but she is like very much our avatar in the sense that we don't know this place at all, and neither does she.
Right,
like
because she's been away for so long. Yeah.
Exactly, and I don't think it would have worked narratively as well. Like if it was just about her, she'd already lived at home, and this, if she wasn't learning about her home, in
Or
the way
if it
that
was
we need
someone
to learn about it.
who for some reason moved to this small town,
That
like
too,
their
'cause-
view would be very different too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the choice to use someone who it was like a former insider was like a very cool choice. And yeah, very reflective, I think, of like a lot of people's lives when they go to college and stuff. And I mean, like I got vibes of the of the area around the University of Maine very much when I was playing the game originally and now. Like Bangor is a lot like Possum Springs.
It
Yeah,
just
Bangor's a
relies
mill
so
town, too.
heavily.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
a former
just
mill
like-
town.
We're just all about like the university. Like there's either university kids or like 80-year-olds,
And that's
you know what I
it.
mean, who live in the town around the university. So
Yeah.
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 I mean, I really like the overall portrayal of it. I think it's like an effective, it does a good job of like, I always, you know what I'm gonna say? It makes me feel
Say
like
it.
Spider-Man. It makes me feel like
Okay.
it makes me feel like I'm living like through it a bit. Like something that comes to mind is like I think like a really good way that they like show that things are not so hot that I just want to get your thoughts on, or like maybe what's an example of something you guys thought in particular that was like an example of I'm having so much trouble talking today, but showing it good, making the stuff
Showing it
look
good.
like showing it good. So I was gonna say really quick that I really like that one of the buildings you walk by is the Social Security Administration.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like they, like most towns do have them, or like areas that serve or towns that serve a greater area, but like they're around, and the choice by the developers to put it like halfway between usually where you start and where you're going next, so you're literally always walking by Social Security, and there's like maybe people outside sometimes, and like it, like people go on Social Security when they lose their mill jobs, when things don't work out, like unemployment is through Social Security, and like I don't know, it seems very like poignant to put it directly in your face, and I thought that was like probably my favorite way that they showed that things were not so hot, because they totally could have just left that out,
Right.
Right.
I think so I'm thinking of examples as well, where like you were saying, Evan, you always start at home and you're always like running left, like all your objectives are left. So it's like everyone's in like the same routine. It's just like
nobody
shitty
moves.
adult life, and it's like you pass the same people, and it's
That's
like,
a
hey, I
good
got
one.
a new poem today. That's like the only thing that's
Dude,
different about my
did you
day.
finish Selmer's storyline?
I mean, like what?
She takes you to like the fucking after school, like night school program for poetry that she's taking.
Oh, that's
Oh.
actually pretty cool.
It's
I saw
so
her.
fucking wholesome.
I didn't finish
dude.
it.
That's
It's so good.
So I was gonna say, we could talk about this later. Like I feel like, and I was under the impression that this game wasn't as replayable as it seems. If that makes
No,
sense.
but
Like I
it's
feel like the
super
changes
replayable.
between and actually, there's a whole bit about like talking to that old lady in the sewers about like your grandpa or whatever.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
So there's all this like little stuff that you would just miss if you're just like running straight to hang out with your friends every day. you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
So
I
Yeah,
think
you got to take the time.
I was gonna say one of the things that kind of helps it feel like a small town is the fact that it takes place in fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something about
There's
it. It's
something
just like-
very cozy about fall, right? Like,
yeah, it feels like
Yeah.
home.
yeah.
I mean, it helps that we live in the Northeast too, where it's always
Well, and that's
yeah,
where it's
right.
set, though.
Yeah,
Like,
it is,
that-
yeah.
It's very Northeast vibes to the whole thing. I like the creators are from Pennsylvania, so
Okay.
Yeah.
like it's very northeasterny.
I think it's interesting how they chose fall as the season that May returns home, because like coming home from college during the fall is weird. Like, because
Yeah.
usually you'd come
Right.
home like around like Thanksgiving, like winter, whatever, Christmas, but like coming home when people are just starting to go to school makes you feel like you're like somewhere where you're not supposed to be. And I think that really works with like how May is feeling like an outsider, and like she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
for sure.
So yeah, and then the second half of my discussion points about narrative. So to quickly recap, kind of the story is May comes home from college. She starts hanging out with her friends, getting to know her friends, and then there's kind of different sub stories within that. But what ends up being the greater overarching narrative is that there is a fucking cult.
Yeah.
And they worship like a subterranean demon,
Yeah.
and they are causing all this havoc. Or I say havoc, it's pretty behind the scenes. In your town, and like they're the kind of like the dark force that you can kind of feel rumbling throughout the game. You can always the game first points it out. I think at the end of the first day you find a severed arm,
Yeah.
and they kind of play it off like a Goonies kind of
Like a
vibe, like
gag.
You're
how
poking it with a
wacky.
stick,
Yeah.
right?
But
Like,
yeah, but then you think about it and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like when you talk to
Especially
her
the
parents,
fact-
they're like, did you really see an arm?
The fact that you have to poke it with a stick and like
Yeah.
right.
Until you reveal the tattoo on it, right? Isn't that how you have to just keep poking it?
Yeah.
I was gonna
So-
say
oh,
it's like it's a very subtle but tangible presence. Like I like
Yeah.
how there are just sort of like spooky things that happen, and some of them are realistic, like the kidnapping, and then like
And the
seeing
severed
like a
arm.
shadowy
Happens.
yeah. But like feeling like someone's like watching you, or that like someone's like following you.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, she must have felt crazy, or made me feel crazy, right?
Kind of like
thinking-
Firewatch to tie back to
Yeah,
our-
yeah. It's a lot like Firewatch.
Kinda
Like, is there
paranoid.
a greater thing? And well,
Yeah.
turns out there was this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, so like the fact that the story starts in this like extremely grounded place of like your town is changing, you don't want to change, you're coming home from college, to there is a subterranean demon and your best friend from high school was maybe sacrificed to him, and there's a guy who can walk through fences
Yeah.
because he's like struck a deal with this demon.
Yeah. I was like, I feel like for me, that was
Yeah.
like a part of the game that I didn't really need. I like Liz had pointed out, like the paranoid kind of sense that you feel throughout the game. But I feel like when they jump the shark, as it were, and like,
Yeah.
it's like a magical demon-y, I was like, ah, man, I don't like that. Because I was getting,
What-
oh, sorry, what's up, guys?
Was it real though? Was it like
we
an
can
actual-
talk about that. We
Well,
can
she
talk
falls
about
like
that
into
after.
the hole, right? And like some like crazy shit happens in the hole, like where it communicates with her. I don't know. Like,
Okay.
right. I guess it's true. It's
Yeah.
truly like up to your own perception. You can decide whether it was
Okay.
really real,
Also-
but there was definitely a cult. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whether or not they were like
Unreliable
actually
narrator.
communing with,
Right.
whether or not they were communing with the black goat is, I guess, remains to be seen.
Like, I feel like I didn't need that from this game.
That
Because-
was
yeah,
Because
Sorry.
I like the connections with that, May was having with all the characters, learning about them. Like May's having like an existential crisis that is pretty relatable. And it's like, I didn't really need the cult stuff is kind of fine. It kind of reminded me of, oh shit,
Hot
what's
Fuzz.
the, yes.
Yeah. No, I
got
was thinking
Hot
the
Fuzz
same
vibes.
thing.
And I was
Hot
like,
Fuzz.
oh, okay, this is cool. And then
okay,
when it's like
yeah.
magical,
It's
I'm like,
literally the
ah,
exact plot of Hot Fuzz. I realized, like a cult.
trying to
I
save
mean,
the town,
manipulating
keep it-
a dying small town, like behind the
Right.
scenes, potentially committing murders. Like
Right,
it's
right.
the exact same thing.
Yeah, So yeah, anyways, that's just how I feel about it. Like I really didn't need like the magical element of it, I guess.
Yeah.
For me,
But those dream sequences sure are fun.
yeah.
Are
For me,
they?
Which
the
I think they are.
I don't know. Some of them were. There's
When
too
you
many.
can't. I'm
The
like,
first one
I
with the
couldn't-
bat is awesome. When you first
bat-
get
the
first one's
bat, and you
awesome.
Yeah.
you see the light post like right at the end of your screen, and you're like holding a bat, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking smash it."
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
that felt really good. But yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, Casper, what were you gonna say?
For me,
cut
I
you off.
feel like the creepy cult stuff was the only thing that was kind of keeping me interested, but
Okay.
it didn't feel like it went with the story.
Yeah, it
You
felt
know?
like adjacent to the story,
Yeah.
but not part of the story, right?
Yeah, it was just really weird the way they put it together. It just didn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting because I took such a big break in the middle, like, because the first half, it's like weird stuff happens. And then I didn't play for a while. And then I played until the end in like basically like a day or two. So when the underground stuff happened, I was like, whoa, because I had
Right.
forgotten like so many little details leading up to it. It was like, seemed like this huge like twist that I didn't see
Yeah.
coming because I hadn't thought about it in that way for a while.
Right.
I don't know. I'm a fan of like magical realism in media. Like I do enjoy when like things are normal and they're like relatable and then like something happens that's like just a little bit off. I mean, I think this is like a little more potentially, weird, but I thought it kind of worked. I also think maybe like it had an element of like political allegory to it because
yeah,
like
for sure.
especially like the sacrificing of like the like undesirables or whatever they called it, like
Yeah.
can be compared to like stuff going on,
For
with social
sure.
issues and whatnot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And whatnot.
And
Well,
whatnot.
As
I think you
Malcolm
can
X
make, like-
said, and whatnot.
You can make a few different comparisons, but in general,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I got a question. Who did you guys hang out with while you were playing the game? Who was your buddy? Did you go with
I
B?
didn't-
Did you go with Greg?
I didn't realize that things would vary based on who I picked. So I hung out with them equally. And I just kind of was like, who am I feeling like talking to today? So I got the Greg ending, but
Okay. I got the I hung out with wait, did you say B? Did you just call her B,
B.
Evan?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think her name's Beatrice, but I think
Yeah.
they call her B.
Oh, I don't know why I called her Bay the whole time, like May Bay, but
Oh, yeah.
I hung out
but
with
it's
her a lot.
EA, not AE.
I liked going to that college party. That's where I was
yeah.
like, that's where like the game kind of hooked me. I'm like, okay, this is why I'm
Yeah.
playing this game, is like to find out more about these characters.
There was some pretty good writing. Like, something we haven't talked about at all. It's just, I think the writing in within the narrative itself, like the script is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah,
Like, I
there's a lot of
can't
funny
quote
parts,
it.
Yeah.
Right now, but yeah, just like lots of funny stuff. Is that Jerry's legs? We got attack the Jerry. For the audio listeners, Jerry has come to say hello.
Whoa! Don't show that. It's gonna get
Jerry's exposing himself.
Demonetized.
flagged. Jeez, Louise.
Jerry is not a dog for audio listeners. But yeah, I mean, so Liz, you hung out with everybody. Kody, you hung out with B.
I hung out with B the most. Yeah,
Casper,
I liked
who'd you hang
Angus
out with?
more, but I didn't hang out with Angus a lot. I felt like I didn't. It's like there's
You
a
don't
couple
get very
times
many
where-
opportunities. To
Yeah,
hang
like
out with
I would
Angus.
go to talk to
Yeah.
Angus. I'm like, yo, let's hang out, and he's just like, I'm like working. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Well, hate to see it.
I do the same thing as Kody. I ended up hanging out with B most of the time.
Mm-hmm. When I initially played, I went all B, and this time I didn't get it very far, but I went all Greg. They have oh, sorry, you go.
I was just gonna say one of my favorite B scenes was the one where May is like helping her like grocery shop and then cook like a family dinner.
Oh, see, I didn't
and-
get that part, but I read about it. But
Yeah.
Oh, well,
That's
there's
like
like
Yeah, sorry, go. No, you go.
it's okay. Well, at one point you say something and then it causes you guys to get in a fight. And I remember thinking after that, like, man, I really wish I had chosen the other dialogue option or whatever. Like, I wanted to see like the non-fight version of the night and how it played out. And
No, I think you have to get in a fight.
yeah, I read today that like no matter what you choose, you get in a fight regardless, which I think is kind of cool writing. I think it's cool that you like as a player feel like you have a choice and that you're making like a meaningful decision, but like obviously, you know, the story still has to progress in a particular way.
Yeah, I don't think it makes too many illusions that it's like wants to be a branching narrative, right? Like it's not like when you play like a Telltale game and it's like Butthead will remember this, and then you know
Yeah.
10 hours later they just say poo poo instead of pee pee, you know.
Right.
There's not a lot of like interconnection between
Yeah.
the different narratives, yeah.
Right, and but they don't try. I don't think they try to like put up a facade and be like, that is the type of game it is, you know. Like,
Right.
But it's still, I
very
think,
linear. In
I think
that
it
way,
feels good to make decisions, and I think like that's definitely a way to keep the player engaged, even if it doesn't really change the story overall.
To that point, there were some parts where I was like, I don't want to be doing what I'm doing. Like the shoplifting part, I was like, wait, I don't want to
Big baby.
shoplift.
I hate
You're a
that.
big baby.
I didn't like stealing the pierogies or whatever in the
donuts.
tunnel. The donuts,
Right.
yeah.
Tunnel
Yeah,
donuts.
I
and
was
it's
like, I don't want to.
there's
That
like some
lady
parts
seems
that
nice.
like so my Mae in my head, I was like, oh, I don't want to. She wouldn't do this, but they wrote her that way because that's how they wrote her. So
Right.
she
That's
does
who
that.
she is.
But the
No,
point
Mae
that really
loves
sticks
crimes,
out,
dude.
she turns out she loves crime, and I was just wrong in my head. But
Yeah.
the part where like we get in a fight with your mom, I'm like, I'm such a
forget that
mama's boy.
part.
I'm like, yo, stop! Don't fight with your mom. Stop.
No.
I'm kind of surprised.
I was like, no, stop.
I'm surprised with the direction they went with Mae, where she's really not like a surrogate for the player. Like she's her own
No,
character.
she's very much her own character. Yeah.
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 Usually these types of games, you are the character.
You're a blank slate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think they tease out Mae's character. Like, I do agree with you that like when you go the B path, you don't commit as many crimes. But like I think her like, so playing what I played of the Greg one, like your first thing you do is steal like a Five Nights at Freddy's ass animatronic from the meat donkey or whatever.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that part. I didn't play
Yeah.
that part.
So, yeah, they're each, you know, different, and I think they expose different parts of like Mae's character. So I do think you kind of have to play both to get the full picture of her character. Maybe can't say for sure because I haven't finished Greg, but I don't know. Yeah, it's not a blank slate though. You're totally right, Casper.
The fact that there are two
No, you
different, like the game, I feel like really expects you to play the game multiple times, which is good and bad. Good,
Yeah.
obviously, because, you know, you can replay it, you can spend more time with it, like you can notice all the details, things like that. But I am a person who is like very prone to FOMO. So at the beginning of every day, I would be like, okay, I have to decide, like, who am I going to talk to? Like, I would like think about what has happened already, and I'd try to like, I don't know, like I really felt like I didn't want to miss out on stuff, even though you have to. So
Yeah.
in some sense, it is kind of a boon.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's like, but there were some parts where I was trying to do something and I felt like maybe I didn't do it enough times or something, but the game was saying like, oh, you can't do it this playthrough. And I was like, oh, that
Right.
kind of sucks. Like, I didn't talk to that lady in the sewer about my grandpa like one day. And then for like the rest of the game, she just wasn't in the sewer.
Right.
Right.
Like, was I
Yeah.
supposed to find
Yeah.
her somewhere else? But she said I'll be here every day or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Did you
it's
guys
like
get
to
into the
get
story beats with the priest? Because that's another one that I think you can fall off of like immediately.
Also,
Okay.
the kids
Yeah,
on
you
the
guys need to
rock.
try. Yeah, the kids on the
Behind
rock
the
got
church?
lost.
yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like
me too.
or like I wanted to hear more about my grandpa, but I like missed it one day because I thought when I was talking to Greg or something that I would have an opportunity to go back that day. But the way the game is structured, it's like every time you talk to your friend about doing something that day, that's it for the day.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to find out about my grandpa the whole rest of the playthrough. Or like the thing with the safe, like how do you open the safe in the
I did that, and I don't remember how.
Yeah, I'm like,
Bro, what's
I'm
safe?
jumping on stuff because in other parts of the game, so Casper, there's that room. If you're going up
Below
the
your
stairs to the
bedroom.
left, it's below your bedroom.
Okay, and that like okay.
The crawl
Yeah,
space.
and you go in there, and there's like boxes blocking your way, and then like there's this dialogue with your dad where you can ask him to
Move the
unblock
boxes.
it. Yeah.
I did
and
that
he
like
moves
3
it, and
times,
there's
and
a-
he never moved it.
Fucking
You got to do it like
dads be
the fourth time or something.
Ah.
But yeah, so like he moves the boxes, and there's like a safe there, and I'm just like jumping around like an idiot. There's no way to get the safe open. I feel like a stupid
No, I'm
idiot.
pretty sure. Maybe I might be thinking of. There's a safe in Gone Home too, so maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But I think I got that safe open. Maybe I didn't.
But like to Liz's
remember.
point, it's like I got the FOMO. Like, what's in the goddamn safe?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think the game probably does need to be played multiple times to get the full
But
picture. And
I don't know
it's
if
a
I
lot
could
to ask.
make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the game's
I don't
too
know.
slow to be played multiple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Well,
think if it was like
I
a
think you need to
chapter
take time off.
select, but okay.
Yeah.
Like
Time
I
off.
think I don't know, like coming back. I also didn't want to jump right back in the first time I played it, but so far I didn't get super far for the show, but I'll probably finish it again just because I want to now see where Greg's storyline goes. So, I think each playthrough is pretty much asks of you 2 playthroughs. I think it's like you got to do all of B, you got to do all of Greg, and then try to work in the other people as well if you can.
It almost made me, and maybe this is just like the kind of person I am, but I almost wanted to like make a list of like every single interactable thing every day, and then like try to
Make
hit
sure
all of
you
those
do it,
things
yeah.
every day to make sure that
Yeah.
I didn't miss anything.
Mm-hmm. All right, last hit for the narrative. I wanted to ask, who is your favorite not friend character of Mae's? So who's a character that you thought was like really good, spoke to you, what have you?
Yeah.
Who was not Greg, Angus, or B or Germ? Because you could do missions.
Germ.
No, Germ's not one. Germ can be it. So just not Angus, B, or Greg.
I'll let someone else go first. I gotta think for a second.
I like the guy on the deck who kept on telling Mae to get off his deck.
That he's gonna shoot him.
Yeah.
Shoot her. Yeah. Maybe.
That was my favorite guy.
Is that relatable, Casper?
Can you stand your
did-
ground in Connecticut? What are you gonna say, Liz?
I did like the older woman that like builds up telling you about your family in the tunnel.
Yeah.
I did not get the vibe that their gender was female, but maybe I totally missed something. I thought it was a dude. I thought they were a
Huh.
dude.
I thought it was.
I don't
But
remember.
I thought it was
but I
old.
totally maybe like just boom right over my head, like I maybe wasn't paying
I
attention.
mean, they are animals. Kind of hard to tell.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
they're yeah.
So
I thought it was an old lady, but I
This
don't
chicken
know.
got fat ass titties.
yeah,
Actually, no.
that'd be a totally different game, right?
Yeah.
I think my favorite character it might be a cheat answer, but I think my parents. I just like every time I could talk to my parents, I would always just talk to my parents.
Yeah.
To our point earlier when we're talking about how like everyone has a routine, it's like every time you come down in the morning, the mom
You go
is
and
there.
talk to mom.
Yeah, and like that's like true in my actual life. Like when I visit from home or whatever, because my mom wakes up at like 4 a.m. and my dad wakes up like 10 in the morning. So my mom's always there. We're just chatting with mom for a couple hours, you know. And then, dude, every time you come home, your dad's just chilling on the couch. That's
Yeah.
classic. That's classic dad, right? So I
They're
don't know. I
very
just
like archetypal characters. Like
yeah. And then
But-
near the end where like you talk to your dad and he's like outside, like the first time you see him when he's like not on
Yeah.
the couch, I'm like, whoa.
Talking to your mom at work for the first time is
Right.
cool too.
yeah, that was cool too. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think it's got to be the pastor. Like it's a tie between Selmers and Pastor K. So I don't know if you guys don't. This sounds like you didn't really pursue her story, but I think I think it's a good story about like the kind of the positive relationship that people can have with religion, which like I've certainly never seen in a video game. And I was very much raised in like a household where religion was not a thing. So I don't have any strong like love for religion as a concept. Oh God, all the people in Ohio or wherever Mormons are from are
Utah.
not gonna,
Utah.
yeah, are not going to listen to the show anymore. But like, I don't know, like pastor, it's like she's very like all about God, but in like the friendly way, in like the way that like she wants to help thy neighbor, and it's like, I don't know, it's like super super wholesome. It's like that part of Christianity, like the songs, you know, the parts that are just so goddamn wholesome. So I really enjoyed that. And then Selmer's like her whole thing, just as she like, you grow to know her and she's like, yeah, I'm in a bad place, but I'm getting out of it. And I'm expressing myself through poetry. It's like, good for you, girl. Let's go. Like, I'm into it. So
Yeah.
those are my two favorites.
Just a quick note about the pastor. Like, I only had one interaction with the pastor. And I hate to say it, but I feel like the reason why I didn't explore some of these other options was because like they were just like too far, or like they just took too long to
Went
get
out
to.
of the way.
Yeah, like yo, I have to jump up this this hill, and the run speed is like, it's not that fast. I don't know. That's like, you know, lazy gamer, but I feel like I would have talked to her if the church was like on the way to Greg or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But they probably put it there on purpose to like make you work for it.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, one huge improvement to the game would be to make you run just a little bit faster, I think.
Teeny weeny bit.
There's a lot of parts too where they just slowed you down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
anytime
you're
I had to
slow
walk, I was
walking.
like, don't make me walk.
Yeah, true.
Speaking of walking, it seems like a good way to segue into mechanics. I don't think we're going to have a lot to say about this, but we'll just like really quickly point out it has a triple jump.
Yeah.
I guess they just put a triple jump in it because who doesn't like a triple jump, right? Like, woohoo!
You need it. There's one spot where you need it for sure. The like most tippy top of the rooftops.
Yeah,
is
and they do
triple
teach
jump
it.
only.
They teach it to you in the first
In the
segment.
beginning, yeah.
Yeah. And then like I just want to say also, speaking of mechanics, like the opening sequence that like when you get to the bus station and then have to do the triple jump to get out of the playground, that from there to there, it teaches you all the main mechanics of the game, right? Like walk, interact, talk, triple jump, or just even jump at first. Cause right when you spawn in, you're like right next to these benches. And the first thing I wanted to do was jump on those benches. Like I wanted to get on the bench. And it even does the hand mini game thing that always comes up where you use Mae's hand to move around. Like it teaches you those like pretty core things in the first like minute without having to be like press A to talk to people or you know whatever.
Well, did you just dab?
No, I sneezed.
Wow. Yeah, that's
engagement canceled.
There's like, you're right, Evan, where it's like the beginning of the game teaches you. I'm trying to think of like other games that
a lot of games do similar things,
like,
but like
you gotta
I don't feel
hide
like
the tutorial so you don't feel like you're playing a tutorial.
And that's like important, I think, in general. I think they did a good job of that, and I will applaud any game that doesn't literally pause the gameplay and show me a pop-up telling me what to do next.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The
I thought that
triple
was really
jump
cool.
is cool because like the spot that you or the multiple spots that you need to use it are optional. Like I like when there's movement mechanics that are, you know, like you can do them, but the player is not forced to do them, especially if it's like something that's like, I mean, obviously triple jump isn't very difficult, but like it never prevents you from progressing.
Yeah. Like in Super Mario Odyssey, when you triple jump, hat throw, dive forward, bounce off hat, hat throw, dive forward.
Right.
That shit's
Who has the
awesome.
I love
time?
doing that.
I love doing that. I only do that, dude. It's like a little macro with my hands. I just do the same little thing over and over again. Ah, so awesome. But yes, we're talking about Night in the Woods.
I like the Guitar Hero parts.
Dude, Tario is so sick.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice
Ooh.
little touch. Yeah, let's like
I have
talk
a-
about the
I have
mini
a-
games.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a question for you guys. What was your favorite mini game? There were like so many. Like when I
Right,
thought about it, I was like, there's a lot of different ones. So which ones did you like?
I would say, or actually, maybe I should like, I can't even remember like a lot of them, but the Guitar Hero is the one that's just like constant throughout the game.
Yeah.
Yo, some of those songs are like hard.
They're kind of hard, yeah.
Yeah.
I also think it was a good choice to have Mae play the bass because there's four face buttons on.
Right, right.
You know, I mean, it seems like such a simple thing, but I bet that like one point she maybe didn't play the bass, like
drums
and then,
or something.
Yeah, and then they were like, oh wait, 4 strings, 4 buttons, perfect.
All right.
Yeah. Casper, what do you think about what's your other favorite mini game besides Guitar Hero?
I'm trying to think of any of the other mini games.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
There's the thief one when
where you're stealing the donuts, right?
Oh yeah.
or, no, I'm thinking of the belt buckle one.
Yeah, in the Hot Topic.
Yeah, in the Hot Topic, if you go with Beatrice
when
or
you go
whatever.
with B,
Yeah. That one was kind of fun. Although I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to steal anything.
You guys are cowards. You never stole anything from Hot Topic when you were a kid? Come on. Corporate punks need to get stolen from.
That's true. It's like a rite of passage, right?
Yeah. I think mine would be I think you do it with Germ, where you smash
Light bulbs?
incandescent light bulbs with a baseball bat. Like, that's just so fun. And then I guess my runner-up would be just now, doing the Greg stuff, there's like a part where you're throwing pierogies into Greg's mouth, and it's like basketball. And I just thought that was awesome. It was just so... And they like... The window to get into his mouth is super small. So I only got one of the 9 in. Yeah, at the end he goes, most of those ended up on my face. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Real quick, Liz, before you give your answer, I don't know if you guys played it, but it's the mini game with Greg where you're stabbing each other.
Oh,
no, I didn't play that one.
It's crazy. Evan, you must be close if you played about halfway, but it's like these 2 knives, and then like you jut out and you try to stab each other. I don't know why, like in your hand. I guess it's like something they did when they're little or something, but
stabby
you just
knifey.
get all like these scratched up hands.
I love Greg. He's a little criminal. Guy.
In the same one, there's a mini game where you're shooting a crossbow with Greg out in the woods.
That was pretty cool.
That was pretty good. But yeah, Liz, what do you think?
I refreshed myself and I just remembered this one today, but there's one with Angus, and I like it because it's with him, but you're like drawing constellations.
Oh yeah.
You have to connect the stars, and I was like wondering if I could mess it up, but I read that like no matter how you connect the stars, like you'll get the little constellation, which I think is cool.
It like blocks you from making a shape that it doesn't want you to make. So yeah, I was trying to make some like wacky thing, and it's like, nah, you can't do that. But yeah.
Nice try, Bucko.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that Demon Tower is in the game. Demon Tower is the pretty competent, it's kind of like a Hyper Light Drifter clone. Yeah. Right. But it's definitely trying to be like Hyper Light Drifter, I think, with like the dash, and like Hyper Light Drifter had like come out like a few years prior. Indie scene, I think it was definitely going for that vibe, but surprisingly competent, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like way better than it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
like big. Yeah.
I think they hired an extra guy because they had extra money from the Kickstarter. I remember reading that they just hired some guy just to do that one little mini game.
That's pretty cool.
They ran it at GDC this year for a speed run.
Demon.
Really?
Yeah, just Demon Tower. Just Demon Tower.
Right. Night in the Woods.
Yeah. I think that would be a pretty long speed run. But yeah, you guys want to talk about the music? I think the music's pretty good. I think the music was really good. It kind of gave me Stardew Valley vibes for like a fair amount of it. Like the like walking in town music made me, just was kind of like homey and chill.
I like the main menu music. It's a kind of mysterious,
Yeah,
like Halloweeny.
Yeah. It's got like a theremin or something. I don't know what that sound is as it comes in, but it's like, it's very wispy and spooky. Yeah.
Even though like I didn't like the dream sequences that much, I really liked this theme. It's called Astral Alley, which I only know because I listened to it on Spotify like a bunch, but that was one of my favorite pieces of music. And I like how like you build up the instruments too as you go through that level.
Yeah. I think I agree with you, Liz, where we kind of skipped over a little bit when we talked about the mechanics, but I did not like the dream sequences really.
Me
But
neither,
the
yeah.
music was good. That was kind of keeping me in. Like, you add like another instrument, and then that gets added to the theme of the soundtrack
Yeah.
that you're playing. But
Yeah. But overall, like, other than that one song, I can't like hear any of the music in my head super duper well. So, is it one of those things where it worked so well that it blended, or
Right.
was it bad? It certainly wasn't so bad that I remember it being bad. So I don't know. I feel like we have this discussion on like every other game because we don't have strong feelings about the music, right? Like,
Yeah.
but
Some songs just aren't catchy and they just don't stick in your head, even though they're good. Like you want to
Yeah,
listen to
yeah.
it again, you just can't remember
yeah.
it.
Are there lo-fi remixes of the Night in the Woods soundtrack, Liz? You would know that.
I don't know, maybe.
all the Guitar Hero songs are pretty good.
Yeah. I wish I could like read the lyrics while I was playing though, because I could see that they were printing on the bottom.
Yeah, dude, I swear to God, if they were above, maybe
Yeah.
not. But I feel like I couldn't read it at all because I'm trying to play Guitar Hero, right?
You guys,
Oh, sorry, Casper, you go.
this is kind of out of what we're talking, but do you guys
Yeah,
think
go
that
for
if
it.
we if the game had people talking,
Dude, I was just
Like
about to
voice
ask that.
acting.
yeah,
Like, what's
I don't know about-
when the sounds come out of your mouth.
yeah,
What's that
yeah.
called?
What's that?
Blah.
I was just about to ask that, Casper. Like, maybe not, full on dialogue like Hades, like, acting out all these.
But like
Angus
Animal
sounds like
Crossing or
this,
something
or-
like.
Yeah, like little jibber jabber. That because I don't know if this game needed this, but that was something I noted down, and I was going to ask you guys. Like, do you think the game would have benefited from anything, any sound happening while there was talking,
Yeah.
or was it kind of going for more of like an actual like storybook vibe?
I liked being able to make up everyone's voices in my head. Like,
Okay.
especially, I feel like the dialogue like system was pretty simple. So they had to sort of like work with some clever writing to like make the characters talk differently. Like, obviously Greg was like caps and like more like slang and stuff. So I enjoyed like having my own voice for everyone in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
I also, this is only like kind of tangentially related, but I like that the animals, like obviously like anthropomorphic, but it's never addressed. Like the fact that they're
Yeah.
animals doesn't come up ever, which is kind of cool.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that there were
Oh, really?
animals, but that there were like there were rat people and then there were rats.
That's always a classic. That's always a classic. With stuff
like
like this. It's
Pluto and Goofy, dude. Like,
yeah, it's like, yo,
just-
he's a dog. yeah.
This freaked me out. May and her family were cats, but they had a cat clock. It's like having a human clock in your house.
that would be sick. But yeah. Also, like, like we don't, everybody's parents are the same species that they are, but like,
Yeah.
well, I guess because Angus and Greg are gay, like they can't like make a kid anyway. But
Yeah,
like,
that's a good
are
And
the
then-
only interspecies relationships in this world gay ones? Well, May went to prom with that raccoon named Cole, so like,
right.
who's to say?
that's-
Like, are there like genetic like monstrosities being
Like,
born
how does
like
this
out of
world
the
work?
crossbreeding of these species? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like cars, right? Like how
Yeah.
the whole cars.
How do more cars get made?
And what comes out?
Yeah. I think I don't know. I try not to think about like that kind of stuff too much, Casper.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
It's
I would
totally
just
terrible.
like get so freaked out, like out of my head, that I wouldn't, play the game. I don't know. They just took some creative liberties. I don't think the game would have been as impactful if they were humans. Like,
I
Yes.
agree.
right?
I think
It
it
would
had
be
a
too
more-
easy to. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You go. No, you go. You go.
I was gonna say it would be a lot easier to find flaws in the characters because I feel like as humans we're like a lot more brutal and judgmental to each other as humans. I feel like it would make you focus more on like the human element versus like the story.
Okay.
yeah.
I just feel like if they were humans, it would just be kind of like that much more forgetful of forgettable of a game. You
Yeah,
know, like I do
right.
think the fact that there are these creatures in this very specific style and they're stylized in this way made me remember this game and makes me like think fondly on this game. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Like it's that little spice, you know.
yeah, I think it probably would have been worse if it was just like humans. I
Yeah.
just get annoyed when in shows or whatever they have like animal people, but they don't do
And
animal
then regular
things.
animals.
Yeah, and that. It just I
Yeah.
don't know. It annoys me. It's just like a dumb thing.
I think it would be a lot worse if you went into the bathroom at some point and there was like
And
a
there's, like, a
kitty
litter
litter
box.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know, like
Like,
a huge
alright,
litter box.
yeah.
I would have been like, oh, okay, no, this game's not for me anymore.
There's dialogue too where they were at the grave with Beatrice and they talk. She says the main character says something about like a horse in the grave, and she's like, "Oh, that would be
Oh,
weird
yeah.
if there was a horse in the grave." And it's like,
It's like, wouldn't it be weird? You're all animals.
but,
No, this is so like. What do you guys think of the like? I guess visually about the game. What do you guys think of it just in general? Like Casper, what do you think?
it looks nice.
Looks nice. Yeah.
Fucking A, it looks fucking nice. Whatever, forget about it. I don't care.
Is that it, Casper? Or-
I like the colors. You know, I like fall
Yeah.
colors. I like warm colors. So I like that game or like that part of the art.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like
What do you think?
I like that it kind of looks like a storybook. Like it's very pop up. Like everything's super flat. Like I remember the first time when you get in the car with B or with everybody to go to the party, and
Or
I don't know. I was expecting her head to be forward,
Yeah,
but it was
it's-
still just sideways driving the car.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. You know, like it had this like this feeling of like, okay, that's the kind of like it's a suspension of disbelief that kind of kicked in. Like, oh, you broke my expectation, and everybody's heads only face one direction in this world. This world is in fact a storybook or whatever. You know, like
right.
I think that worked pretty
What do
well
you think,
for it.
Liz?
Yeah, I like the flatness too. I like how I feel like going to the left is so unique. Like, and I
That
like
is
how
true.
It's
Yeah.
very true. Yeah.
the art like sort of flows like in these like waves, but like going to the left because you can like go down the hill, up the hill, and then like up on the rooftops, and then down to like the stores. And I thought
Yeah.
that was cool.
Liz, you have to reverse it when you're talking to us because we're looking the other way. You just
Oh,
went
yeah.
from left to right.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
All right. Never allowed
I
back on the
definitely-
podcast.
Well, that's a good point too, Liz. Where it's like everything. Like I'm trying to think of other parts in the game, where you're going right, but most of the time you're going left.
You're almost
You're going
always
right.
going left.
You're going right to get up to the church into
right.
like the
That's
boulder.
true. Yeah.
And on some of the missions you go right, but on a lot of the missions you go left. Like, and I keep saying
left.
missions. I was saying missions when I was talking to
Missions,
Liz
yeah.
earlier. They're not missions. I don't know why. The little stories. Operation, like
The objective.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think not a lot of games are right to left. It's very unique in that way too. You're so smart, Liz. Well done.
Any
That's a good point.
lefties? Are you guys righties?
Righty all the way.
Righty.
Righty gang.
Can't ask a lefty if that was better or worse for them.
Yeah, what else about
back
the
to the
art?
doc.
Like, I mean, we talked kind of about the characters, but like, did you guys vibe with the background kind of design? Like, did the places feel like we kind of talked about this earlier with how it brings the small town vibe to life in a good way, and I kind of already said how the backgrounds play a part in that, but
I think.
One thing
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go. You can go.
I was gonna say, when Evan, you were talking about like what is something that like sort of allows you to see into the fact that it's not doing so well. I thought of how the supermarket is like very modern, like because you're walking along the street, which is like kind of like dilapidated, and then you walk into the supermarket and it's all like very sterile and shiny, and
Yeah,
that's
it's like the newest thing that the town has like ever had ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fact that that's like, their only thing that's like
Yeah.
modern.
That's a classic.
well, juxtaposition. Oh, we got a visitor. Yuzu the cat is on the podcast.
It's so cool. Your cat has a mustache. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, mustache cat.
Yep.
For the audio listeners, the cat has a mustache
It's not a cat.
and is not a cat. Yeah. yeah, I don't know. Yeah, overall the art style I think works really well for the game. So I think we've pretty much covered our kind of four main areas we like to talk about.
Wait,
Liz.
one last thing
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
about the art.
Oh,
really
sure.
Quick. Just also like kind of a mechanic, but one of my favorite things about the game is the notebook mechanic. I love that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, whoops.
I think that added so much, and like I loved looking at those drawings and having them fill in over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time
and being
I
able to look
did
back on them
something-
was cool.
Yeah, like at the end of the game, kind of like Firewatch, any percent episode, whatever.
4?
But yeah, just like when the game ends,
Like 6.
you can look back and see what was filled in. It does, going back to the FOMO thing, it's like, man, I got 4
Empty
blank
pages.
pages.
Blank
Wow.
spots. Yeah.
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 They should have. I mean, I wonder why they didn't just like have it
Like fill in as you go.
as you go. Yeah, instead
Yeah.
of being like, like hard and fast slots for it. Speaking of that journal, I do like that the options menu is your prescription pad from your doctor telling you to
that is
take
cool,
notes
yeah.
in your journal.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah, when you go to the options, it's like Dr. Hank. You never meet Dr. Hank in the game, but a couple other characters bring him up. He's like the
Yeah.
town doctor.
They all hate him. Everyone hates him.
They all hate him. And like his door says something stupid like, broke a bone, call me, or something dumb on it. But I just thought it was really cool, like, to work that in as like just like a UI element that kind of exists in the real world. And that's really the only, other than the button prompts in the game, that's like kind of the only like hard and fast UI that I would like describe as like being a user interface. So I thought it was really cool that they worked it in that way.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any other thoughts before we take a break? Any just generic? Check your notes, folks. Check your notes. Anything that was really cool?
Besides giving our stamp, do we do that now or do it at the end?
No, we do the stamp now, but I got one thing, but I'll wait, or I'll go while Casper's looking. I just wanted to point out that now that so I'm like probably in the unique position of having played both stories, or a little bit of Greg, all of B, right? So I just wanted to say like their stories actually aren't that different, or they're not that different as characters, and I thought Greg's a little more carefree, but they're just kind of in different places in their life. In like a fascinating way, but they're all both still ahead of B, ahead of Mae. B has like had to go full adult, and
She's
like
adult, yeah.
she just has to do everything, and like that's where she's at. And Greg, has like a permanent, or at least long-term romantic partner who he has, like, when you play his story, like I learned like they're moving, and if you do B's thing, you completely miss that. Because Greg and Angus are gonna move and get an apartment together, and so he's in the progress to become more of like a full adult. And B
I
already
didn't know
is.
that. They're moving.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he's moving to
the
Bright
cat bit
Harbor,
me.
which sorry.
It's okay.
So I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that it's no matter which path you go. I thought going with Greg was going to be more of like an equals thing than kind of the relationship Mae and B have, but really Mae is lagging behind both of her friends, at least in terms of like change and accepting the change that is occurring in her life. So I just wanted to call that out. I thought that was cool. Like how you kind of do get the same story beats, I guess, from both of them, in the way that like you learn about Mae as like someone who does not want to move forward with her life. So
I played this game for the first time, like I think right after I graduated. So I think like Mae's supposed to be like 20 maybe. So when I played it the first time, I really felt like she was like a peer. Like so much of her story was relatable. Like I felt like, like there were elements of her story that made a lot of sense to me. But then revisiting it as a, older adult, I felt really like she was like younger than me. She felt less like a peer and more like, maybe someone I was like years ago, relatability wise.
Yeah, I think interesting that you bring up like I don't know. It's just like they're all at different stages of their life journey.
Yeah.
And I think we all have friends at different stages too. We kind of see our friends and Mae's friends.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's just part of like being a young adult is that we're all going through changes, man.
Right.
And
Yep.
some more than others.
Other changes were supposed to stop at puberty.
All right.
My cat is attacking me.
I think
Going
that's a
nuts.
good time to take a
Break time?
break. Yeah, let's take a break.
Stamp.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back.
Wait,
in
stamps.
Oh, we gotta do the stamps. No, we're not taking a break. Okay, thank God we don't have.
Stamps.
Yeah,
We'll do this
okay.
fast though. Stamps
Yeah,
fast.
we got it. We'll do it quick. Okay, I'll go first. B rules is my stamp.
Wow.
B
She
rules.
does
I really
rule.
like B.
I'm in love with her. Yeah.
You're in love with her, you say?
I just love how she's smoking all the time, but
Oh,
in-
even when she's
indoors it's like a
sleeping.
fake cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when she's sleeping too, she's got hanging out of her mouth. All right, I'll give my stamp. Being an adult sucks.
Yeah.
And I think like I'm at that point where it's like, oh man, you can't just goof off as a college kid, you know, like the only thing you gotta worry about is like homework or Chaw's upcoming test or whatever, right?
Wow. Deep cut.
Only you main computer science students will know. But yeah, it's like I'm just tired all the time, and you can see that in B, and I just relate to her a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, just over it.
All right, I got
Oh.
2 stamps.
Whoa,
Mom,
double stamp.
That's never been done before.
Okay. No, okay, listen. Ready? Mom appreciation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mae's mom was so nice, and I feel like, yeah, she was quite sassy with her. So appreciating our moms.
Just real quick
Yeah.
for Casper does his stamp. It's like you can really tell. You can kind of get what the mom's going at. It's like, yo, we kind of like put our whole lives into setting you up for college. It sucks that college isn't for you, but now we're gonna lose the house. And that's kind of just like a hanging thread at the end of the game. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Oh, right.
Casper. Like, who? Huh? What? And then I what?
Why are they animals? I don't know why I'm obsessing over it so much, but like half of my
He's like-
notes are like just comparing all the different animals.
You turn your camera, dude, and there's like photos in red string, and it's like,
yeah, he's like Charlie from Always Sunny. He's like,
gotta talk to you about these animals. Gotta talk to you about these animals, Kody.
that's pretty good.
All right. Now we're really taking a break, so we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a sec. Stick around. Welcome back. We are almost done with our show. That was an extremely long game section for us, so we're gonna do a short Casper time. We have to come up with a good name for this section at some point.
No, it's got to
Episode 9, we
change
still
every
don't-
episode. What's in
Today
this episode?
we're calling this Casper's Hour of Existential Crisis.
Yep.
And in this section of Casper's Hour of Existential Crisis, we're talking about what games have your favorite story. We just wrapped up playing an extremely narrative-heavy game, so we thought it would be fun to just quickly just go over some games that we think have a particularly good story. So why don't I throw it to our guest, Liz, first for a game that she thinks has a really good story.
Up first again. All right. So I had
That's
to
what the guest has to do.
Yeah. I had to think about this. Like, I feel like I play a lot of games where, like, there is a story, but the narrative isn't really what drives the gameplay. But the game that I thought up that has an awesome story, or more like many cool stories, is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney and the Ace Attorney series in general. Definitely one of my favorite series. I feel like, you know, visual novel, so maybe kind of like a cop out, like an obvious answer for
Well, they
for a
all are
narrative
mostly
game.
story.
Yeah, but just like the pacing, the variety, the characters, I feel like really make that an awesome series. The first game in particular is my favorite.
Yeah, I feel like that's always a game. You see, like, you see all the memes about it, like Objection, all that stuff. How could I play? Is that on Switch yet? Did they like
Yeah, it's on
remaster
Switch.
it?
Yep.
I think I remember. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah, I'll have to check
the
that out,
trilogy is like in a collection for Switch, but they're even on mobile, which is
Okay.
kind of cool.
Lots of ways to play it. Yeah, those
that's
are pretty fun. I've only started the first one, but I really enjoyed the time I spent with it so far.
Yeah, that's
many
always
games
those
to
games
play.
I wanted to give a shot. You
Yeah.
know? So
All right, Casper, how about you?
I think one of the games that have probably one of my favorite stories is Pearl 2. Yeah, the first one was good, but a lot of the story
gonna
was more
say.
hidden.
right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but the second game, it has a lot in the background, but also like as soon as you go to the part where it's underground with Cave Johnson and all that, you learn a lot more about Aperture's history
In the world, yeah.
I just love that. I love the entire Portal Half-Life universe
Right.
and all its history.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they'll ever make
it's
another
definitely way
game
more
in the
in your
universe.
Casper, did you want to talk about the other thing I see on your run of show?
Yeah, I did have another one.
Undecided. He couldn't
do
pick
it.
just one.
Mass Effect has a great story, just the entire trilogy, you know. A lot of people like the second one the most. I like I like the gameplay in 2 and 3 a lot more. But when it comes to actual story, I think I like the first one the most. I just love the setup to the entire story.
Yeah.
Have you guys played Mass Effect?
I know it.
Nope.
I know the setup just a little bit, but
I know
why
that
don't
the
you
third one
give
has a
it
bad
to us?
payoff, right?
Right,
Like,
that's
doesn't
what
the
they
story
say.
pay off shittily?
Yeah, and
the
they
third one.
patched it, but the patch still is like
Still a bad ending. It's like when they redid the
Yeah.
end of Evangelion, dude. Some things can't be fixed.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Mass Effect, but pretty much for like a quick summary of the first game, is like, this guy who's kind of like a mentor ends up betraying you because he's working for the Reapers, which is like this mysterious bad guy no one knows anything about,
Yeah.
and you just kind of try and figure out who the Reapers are, and that's when you find out that they're the big machine bad guys, and there's so many cool lead up to it. And you have to make choices where sometimes not everyone gets to live.
Right.
And you know, it was one of the probably wasn't like the first game to do that, but you know, it was.
Yeah, it
I feel like
definitely
it's-
like what popularized dialogue trees
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah, I think at least. Would you say like the story like made like you saying like you had to make decisions about who lives and dies? Like, was it a game that made you kind of feel like emotional? Is that why it was like, or was
There
it
was-
just?
Get like
There was
attached to the
definitely some
character.
people I didn't want to die, and like I
Yeah.
did as much as I could not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a good game or a good trilogy, story wise.
You excited for the next one?
I don't know.
If
After
BioWare-
Andromeda, I
We'll
played
see.
Andromeda.
If BioWare still exists, we'll
Yeah.
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 Just play Anthem, Casper. Isn't Anthem so good?
Oh man, I tried Anthem. I tried it.
I had the beta, or I
Yeah.
did the beta, and it
Yeah.
didn't run like at all. Like
It was
I couldn't
bad.
get into it. I would sit with my friends on like PSN and we'd just be shooting the shit because we were like, "You still in the queue to get in?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sucks, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kody. What about you?
So this is a tough question, right? It's a really
Yeah.
tough question. I think that a game whose story that I've always, really liked, Fall at New Vegas. First played it on the PS3, and it might have been like, I don't know. It just kind of showed me like, that a story doesn't necessarily just have to be like, what you read on screen, right? Like the world building is like a huge part of it. It never really
Didn't click.
saw that in other games,
Yeah.
right? So you're finding out about these different factions, and all the side quests. Like sometimes the side quests are better than like the main quest. But also you'll see like, oh, there's like a skeleton, like a comic book in his lap or whatever. Like all this like weird, that just gives texture to the whole world.
Yeah.
And then all your companions, you're getting attached in the same way that I assume that Casper felt about some of the Mass Effect characters. You just get really attached to these characters that you're just around all the time. And just like the whole idea of Fallout, it's post-apocalyptic, and that might be a little, every game is post-apocalyptic nowadays. It feels like, but I don't know, just the idea that it was like a nuclear war that happened between all these different countries, and that always kind of like itched like the sci-fi. I've always been into that kind of sci-fi,
that premise,
world building. Yeah, right. So.
Yeah. So I haven't played New Vegas. What's like the major narrative thread? Like, who are you and what are you doing? I've played Fallout 3, and then I just didn't play New Vegas.
Dude, New Vegas is.
I know it's better. Everyone says
it's better, right?
Yeah.
So you are you're a courier, and you get like shot in the head, and that's kind of like you're like Left 4 Dead.
Credits roll.
Yeah. So like that's kind of like your main push is just like, you know, you end up like a new place and you're finding out about all these, like, what happened to me, and you got to go find the guy who did it to you and that sort of thing. But that's kind of used as like a vessel to open up the world,
Sure.
for you as the player. Yeah, I think that because in Fallout 3 is all about like the water or something, right?
Yeah. You gotta go find Daddy.
You got to find your Liam Neeson dad, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the story in New Vegas is a lot better, and I think that Obsidian, now owned by Microsoft, Outer Worlds, that might be something you should look into playing too, Evan, if you're into that kind of game.
Yeah, I want to play it. I don't have it.
Yeah, I think
Obsidian
it makes it improves on the formula of like New Vegas and Fallout. So
Obsidian is owned by Microsoft now.
Yeah,
Yep,
they
they
went
are.
in their big buying spree. They bought like a ton of
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, since Bethesda is owned by Microsoft.
I know they could do like a new Fallout.
Now they can
yeah.
do real Fallout. Yeah, it's crazy. So for me, I want to say like this isn't my favorite story ever told in a game, and I don't know if it's everybody's or like we didn't set that as like it's like more like what's one you like, but I really like the story in Final Fantasy 15. I don't know who among us has played it.
Is that the one with the cars? You drive around with
It's
your
the one
boys?
with the car
Yeah.
and your boys. Okay, so the story is like has some problems. It's very stretched out. Like takes a long time for like the main story beats to kind of occur. And at the same time, parts of it feel like super rushed. Like some parts are stretched, some parts are really compressed.
I feel like this is the beginning, this is the middle, and then this is the end.
Is the end. Yeah. Yeah, the end is like comes on way, way too fast. But it was the most recent game that made me cry while I was playing.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, Liz was like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "I'm not crying." Because you really grow attached to the characters, like you know, and I know that's not necessarily like a narrative thing, but like in some stuff they write these scenarios to be like very linear that cause you to love these people, but in this game, like they're like these AIs that just do lovable things, right? Like they Prompto will like stop and be like, "Oh, let's take a picture, bro," as like you drive past something awesome. And it's like, yeah, let's get out and take a selfie with the thing, you know?
Yeah.
That is pretty
So
cool.
it's all about like brotherhood and stuff like that, which is like that'll get me anytime, dude. Anything about that'll get me instantly. So and then spoil like I guess we probably should have said maybe we should cut something in at the beginning that we might spoil some of this
These
stuff.
games are all old, right?
Yeah. So the end of the game. So what the kind of the theme of the game, other than brotherhood, is like duty, right? Like it's like Noctis has a goal that he must complete for his country, for his people. He's the prince of this kingdom. He doesn't really want to do it, but he accepts that he has to eventually, and he does it. It results in his death, which is a fact he knows. And okay, right before you go to the final boss, you pick one photo that, because you take photos the whole game, that's like one of the mechanics, and you get it. Prompto's like, "Wait, bro, take a photo with you, bro," or something, and he like brings up your whole backlog of photos you've taken through the whole game, and you get one, and like they show it like, you know, at one point during the final cutscene, like close to his heart or whatever, like you and your boys,
What the hell?
and like. Yeah, so not like Noctis dies, right, in the end. Like he sacrifices him. He needs to absorb enough power to defeat the big bad, but to absorb that much power, he dies in the process. The after credits scene, I just wept. That's the part that really got me. Liz will remember. they play this fucking thing because the game's all about camping too. Like you camp everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's them sitting at the campsite and like just being like having like this like awkward male like inability to express themselves, but like having so much to say, dude. And like Noctis is just like, I'm really gonna fucking miss you guys is like basically what he's trying to say. And they're like, yeah, we love you, but they just can't say it.
Yeah.
And it's just I was just like I cried. It was too beautiful.
Damn.
What got me was in the beginning of the game when they're pushing the car, they got that song "Stand By Me."
Oh my god, yeah, the Florence and the Machine cover of "Stand By Me" will make me cry.
I love that cover, and not only that though, the game ends with that.
Oh yeah, you hear it twice at the beginning and at the end. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like the perfect way to close it off. There was definitely a lot of problems like in between and with some of the story.
I want to say that's not like a perfect story, but
yeah,
it is.
but
it's a good story. I love and I love that game. Like rough edges and all. Like that game is pretty rough in a lot of ways, but I love that game. So, so play it, Kody.
You're gonna make me cry, Evan, just by talking about it.
Dude, it's beautiful.
Well, I was gonna ask. So, you like stories about brotherhood and stuff. I don't know why. Like, I immediately just thought of like I was like, oh, Evan must love Brother Bear. I don't know why.
I saw it. I don't remember it. For movies about animals from that age, I have like a much better memory of like
Spirit the horse.
Yeah.
Spirit. You both said Spirit at the same time. That's good.
So I don't know. But yeah, that game is awesome and that story is cry worthy. So if you haven't played it, listener, and you want to cry, I just spoiled it for you. So
I don't know if I want to play it. I just want to watch it and play it and just cry.
Dude, I think like watching it, like if you were to like watch an entire playthrough of it, I don't think it would have the emotional weight of like hanging with your boys, dude.
Right.
And like getting to know these characters. Although, like maybe it would. I don't know. What do I know? But anyway, I'm thinking it's about time we announce next episode's game. So Kody, it was your choice. Why don't you lay it on us?
I'm really into like kung fu, like karate fighting. So I picked the Brawler RPG karaoke simulator, Yakuza 0.
Nice.
Yeah, so Yakuza 0 is gonna be our next game. It's like I think it's like $5 on PlayStation right now. If you guys want to pick it up, that's how I'll be playing it. So.
Yeah, it's also on sale on Steam, I saw. So
nice. Yep.
Many ways to play. So that's the plan. So I hope you'll join us, dear listener, on the next episode. I think that wraps it up, though.
Yeah, real quick, just gotta say thanks, Liz, for being a guest.
Yes.
I don't want the other guests to hear this, but I think you are our best guest ever.
That's what I want to hear. No, thanks for having me, guys. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz. I'll see you after this in like 1 second for hugs and kisses. All right. Well, thank you again, listeners. Thank you, Liz. Thank you to my 2 wonderful co-hosts. I have been your host, and I hope everybody has a beautiful rest of your day.